Hello and welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. I'm your host, Roger Connect, President of Universal Accounting Center, and each and every week I bring on the show experts to help us work on our business and in fact grow the company that we've always desired to, in fact, offer quality accounting services and get paid what we're worth. It's here on the show that we have each and every week conversations that range from marketing, selling, pricing, things that we can do to onboard our clients more efficiently, work profitably, take care of our staff, and so many more things. And today is going to be an excellent discussion. This is one I've been looking forward to. It's Sarah Cordiner. She happens to be someone that you should know. She's a qualified education and training professional with over 13 years of experience as a leader in business and actually helping owners take their intellectual property and turn it into education and help with the training sector, basically helping educate individuals. Now, Sarah helps business organizations and business owners create amazing online courses. Sarah specializes in helping you commercialize your expertise into courses, coaching programs, and memberships, as well as scaling and automating your business using technology. So, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's going to be an exciting one today. Sharing some tips about how that stuff in your brain could be turning into more leads, more business, more products, more commercialization, and of course, even more importantly, a bigger impact in that legacy you're all leaving behind.
I love it because what you're bringing to the table here is stuff that we need to consider as we're growing our business for two reasons. One, I want to start on the marketing and sales side. So many of us struggle and want to find ways to better position ourselves as being that solution or answer to our clients. And as accounting professionals, we've got a lot of intellectual property, as you would refer to it, expertise in the experiences that we've had. How do we now take and commercialize that into marketing and sales things? So that's one of the things I want to talk about. And then at the same time, we're going to be diving into how we can maybe monetize it as well. But before we do that, give me a little bit of a story, a background as to how you came into this expertise. Why are you the expert?
I love it. So just so you guys know, I am an actual teacher trainer. So I'm a qualified postgraduate teacher trainer. My background is in education. I have worked in the role of the executive director and head of campus of an Australian university. I have worked in senior leadership, C-suite positions in government, in education, training and management roles. And I've spent the last 15 plus years doing curriculum design, workforce planning for organizations globally. So this is something that I've been doing since way before it was sexy and everyone was creating online courses, but it wasn't always that way. Like most teenagers, it started in a schoolroom with someone who was going, what's the point of school? Why am I here? I remember learning about Henry VIII and my teacher was blabbing on about a bunch of dead wives and dead guys. And I remember thinking to myself, genuinely, how does this actually affect my life? How is this relevant to me? And I put up my hand, and it might have come out a little bit differently as a teenager, but I genuinely wanted to know. And I said, sir, how is it? What's the point in this? How is this relevant to me getting a job, which I'm told is why I'm here at school? Well, my teacher, instead of seeing this as an opportunity to educate me, to inspire me, to motivate me, to teach me about how what's happened in the past can inform what happens in the future, he basically threw me out and said, don't come back again, you rude little girl. Well, now I've gone on to obviously make a career out of answering questions in the way that I wish my history teacher had gone on to. I went backpacking around the world, swore I'd never walk into a classroom again. As it happened, I fell into working in schools and orphanages, decided that for me, that moment of seeing people's light bulbs go on and discovering something new was really exciting for me. Like that was my drug hit that I kind of experienced, that dopamine you get when you share something and see somebody's eyes see themselves, their worlds, and what they are capable of in a different way. That was it. I came back from backpacking around the world. There was one place left in the local university to me, and it was a degree in education. I jumped straight in, and yeah, here I am with over 280,000 students of my own later.
I love it. One of the things that I think is very important about what you shared there is the fact that as instructors, as educators, one of the primary things that we have is the responsibility to draw from those listening curiosity. If we can make them curious enough about what we're discussing, they're going to pay attention. And yes, part of that is, how does this apply to me? So as an educator, as somebody that we're both now working in the education space, myself being the president of an accounting school, I think one of the things that we need to both recognize is, just like you said at the beginning, we're trying to bring the sexy back. We're trying to make this interesting, exciting, and hopefully monetize it as well. So let's go into, first of all, as accounting professionals, how can we take the the intellectual property, as we're going to refer to it, that experience, that expertise, and use it to our advantage as it relates to marketing. How can we take these pieces of information and answer for our potential clients the what they should know, the why they should know it, but hold back the how so that they can pay us as customers of ours, paying clients, to get access to that information as to how it relates to them? How would you actually explain that then?
That's amazing. One of the things I think we all need to realize is that we spend a lot of our time thinking about what we don't know yet, what we haven't done yet, where else we need to go so far. And we forget about the years worth of cumulative knowledge and expertise and experience that we do have. And in fact, some of the most powerful pieces of knowledge and IP we have, we consider so normal because they're so automatic and everyday to us that we actually forget or undervalue the significant and immense power of that stuff, of how much that information could fundamentally change people's lives and their businesses, and how commercially valuable that information that's stuck in our head actually is. It's kind of scary when we realize just how much sort of digital dust all of that information is collecting by just sitting in our brains. All the things you've ever created and written sat there on your hard drive or your Google Drive or that little yellow folder on your computer that could be being used to help people and as another income stream. And I'm going to touch on something you said there, Roger, because it's really interesting how what a lot of people do first say to me, as we've touched on just there, when they go, well, okay, Sarah, you're telling me that if we share our answers to our questions, we can get more leads and attention. If we share our answers to our questions, we can make more money. But am I not going to be then cannibalizing my business by giving away my best kept secrets? Am I actually putting my business at risk by sharing what I know with the world? Will my competitors steal it? And actually, when you go into this educational space, whether it's for marketing, we call it edu-marketing, we will be chatting more about that, I know, this morning, or about turning this into commercial income streams in your business, whether you're packaging it up in the form of courses, paid webinars, online workshops, memberships. I'm going to talk about how you can tie that into services, and indeed whether it's going to be books, whatever format you're packaging it up into. Here is one of the key things I want you to start sucking your head into. The more you give away for free, the richer you become. And this is a very controversial way of looking at it, but I can guarantee you now, if you start seeing that the most helpful person in the room is the one who always wins, the quicker you will grow and the quicker this will become successful for you. And my favorite analogy for you guys is this. I don't know how many of you have got a recipe book sat on top of your microwave. Roger, have you got any of those in your kitchen, recipe books?
I do.
How much dust do they have on them?
Too much.
Too much, yeah, like that film of grease where they've been above the cooktop, right? And mine have moths that flutter out of them when I open them. But here's the weird thing about this analogy I like to use. Now, every single one of those big celebrity chefs that we know, who's one of yours, Roger? Like, is there a celebrity chef out there whose stuff you always love?
What is it, Bobby Flay or something like that?
Was he like a barbecue guy or something?
No, yeah, he does. He's on the Food Network here in the States, and he actually has a number of shows, has a number of restaurants and so forth. But yeah, there's Guy Fieri. So my wife has the Food Network on.
And most of these big celeb chefs, you know, they've got their own TV shows that they're getting paid for on primetime TV, sharing the secret recipes that they have. They've got cooking schools that people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to get into, to get those positions as an apprentice in those kitchens, right? And the point is, these guys are very, very rich and they have a lot of money. Yet you can go onto the internet and type in the recipe for, and that chef has shared every single ingredient for creating the dish that you are looking for, their signature dish. They show a photo, they walk you through it, they show you how many times to mix it in a circle, and you can go onto the TV and press on and you can watch them do it for free on your television. You can go to YouTube and they're doing it and giving it away for free there too. Yet they are still multi-millionaires. So would we even know these chefs at all? And would they even be multimillionaires if they hadn't shared their recipes? Because if they hadn't, we'd never know them. We'd never be able to taste them. We'd never be inspired to even go and buy the book in the first place. We still went and paid for the cookbook that's in our kitchen, collecting moths, even though every single recipe in that book is out there for free online. Short of cannibalizing their businesses, giving their recipes away for free is precisely what creates created their success. And as soon as we can start thinking this way, this is how people discover you. It's how people get that little nibble, that little lick of the cheese cube count. You remember the deli counter? They give you a piece of cheese and you were planning to get cheese, and now you've walked out with a block of cheese because you got to lick it, right? This is what we're doing when we are sharing our knowledge. We don't have to sell when we're giving people a taste of who we are, how we teach and how we present. We are showing them that we know what we know instead of promising it and hoping they'll be convinced.
I'm loving your analogy here because it's something I can definitely relate to. And what I'm going to add to that is the fact that what they're paying for is the experience. You're right. The recipe isn't the be all end all. And I can at home perhaps make that meal. But the thing I'm really paying for is the ambiance, the experience that they're providing in the restaurants that they have and so forth. So yes, there's clearly a solution where I can have this can do, will do attitude of I'm just going to take the recipe, this business recipe, for example, as it relates to accounting, and I'm going to try and do the books myself. But too often what happens is the person starts with that philosophy is, okay, I've got the how-to guide here. I've YouTube exactly the steps to follow it. But eventually I'm going to realize, but this isn't why I started my business. This isn't what I got into business to do, as the accounting for my business. I got into business to do what I love and enjoy. And accounting happens to be this thing that I'm willing to now offshore. I'm willing to outsource. I'm willing to have somebody else do. And therefore I'm going to entertain then who is going to be this? To whom am I going to pay to actually take care of this need? Well, clearly what you just described then is if I out there in the space of marketing my services, volunteer this information, they're going to be drawn into, well, clearly this person knows what they're talking about. Clearly this person is an expert in their own right. Clearly this is someone I can relate to. I'm willing to now pay them to service me because I like who they are. I see them as the expert that they are. How's this sounding so far?
It is amazing. And do you know actually how I chose my accountant? Was because she was out there educating for free. Now, isn't this bizarre that we think here we have to protect everything, we have to build a wall around it, we have to make sure no one finds out the way we do things, where in fact, when we want to be seen, to get noticed, when we want to generate trust in people, especially when it comes to our money, that delicate, private, sensitive thing of our finances that, let's face it, all of us are a little bit scared of sharing with another person, right? The way I fell in love with my now accountant was because she went out there and was sharing tips to business owners on how to manage their money. She was sharing her particular philosophy about how to save, about how to bucket, about how to do the right thing by the tax man, whilst at the same time making sure you get the best returns. And the more I watched this person, the more I felt, that's what I love that. I didn't know that. Wow, this person's so smart. I want to know more. This person thinks like me. I need their help. To a point that now I handed over my entire bank account, all of my financials to this person. I generated trust enough to do that by simply watching this person share everything they knew with us completely free of charge. And I know that that particular accountant has the majority of her customers as a result of that particular method. And know what happens locally where I live is when somebody asks, does anyone know a great accountant? Her name gets tagged in everything, in all of these Facebook groups. It works.
As a case point for this, I will point out that we for years had a number of individuals that would teach a QuickBooks class specifically with the intention of helping the business owner recognize how powerful the QuickBooks platform would be. They were already drawn to it. They felt that this was the thing that they were going to use, and they wanted to, as business owners, take advantage of the software that they've just paid for and obviously do their own books. But at the end of the presentation, at the end of the class, one of the things that was very common is the majority of the room would say, I understand it, but I don't want to do it. Is there any way that you can help me? Well, you just spent the last hour positioning yourself as the expert. And in doing so, they were endeared to you because they like you. You've become someone that they are comfortable with. And just as you explained, you're now someone that they're willing to pay to do the service. So excellent example of that. So let's put us in a great position of using these tips as a great way of complementing the marketing we're doing to more or less help our clients see us as the experts we are and build that relationship with them that they now are drawn to us. But I want to go to the next thing, which you're an expert in, which is then recognizing after the years of experience that we have, that this collection of tips can be organized into something that we can now consider a course or something that somebody may pay to have access to. How do we now go from the little tidbits of information that we've over time accumulated to now organizing it into a course that we can now consider as intellectual property, a curriculum that now we can monetize? What would you say to that?
I love this. And one of the first steps before you build anything is to always come back to your business model and your customer journey. So I always say to people when they come to me and say, Sarah, I want to create a course, I go, but why? What other stuff are you selling? Where is this going to fit in the rest of your business? Because just creating a course just gives you another thing to market. It doesn't sell themselves. You've got to do other marketing. So it needs to make sense with what you already offer and or plan to. So when we talk about a customer journey in this sense, we are talking about the steps that somebody would go through from just seeing you for the first time, usually your free stuff, your marketing that you're putting out there. And I recommend that includes a lot of educational tips that you're sharing, all the way through to cheap things that they can buy from you one-off that are passive in terms of how you fulfill that particular offer, all the way up to more intense, maybe educational programs. Maybe you're planning to run some kind of coaching program once a year. Maybe you want to plan a membership, and we'll talk about that in a second, how that can work really well with services. And maybe you're thinking about running boot camps or retreats. Perhaps you have done for you or done with you services. So basically what I've just done there is talked about a few different ways that you can package up your knowledge and offer them to the market, from the lowest price thing, i.e. free, all the way up to the most expensive things, which are when you're doing completely hands off for them, done for you services, which is obviously what most accounting firms generally would fit into, because we're handing stuff over to you and you guys are doing it for us. That's kind of the top end of your service or customer journey model. But when we have decided then, okay, well, if I'm going to create a course, which one of those is for me? Now you know what stuff's going to come before it, i.e. it's now going to teach you what you need to put in your marketing, what you're putting out there that's going to draw people eventually through that step-by-step process in your customer journey. Once you've worked out that the way you're packing it out, and then that's going to tell you what the pricing is of that product. Because now if you know, for instance, that it's going to be at the lower end of your customer journey, you are looking at that being cheaper. And I would say less than $200, less than $100 for something that's completely self-consuming, passively delivered, one to many, because it doesn't require anyone to facilitate the fulfillment of that particular thing. If it's up at that higher end, obviously you're going to have to start calculating time, resources, costs. So it's going to give you your pricing model as well. Then from there, you are going to just start asking yourself, what's the best way to title this? And this might sound really basic and really dumb. Hang on, I thought we were going to actually talk about courses, Sarah. One of the biggest reasons why courses don't sell, aside from people just simply not doing enough marketing, is they've often used the wrong words and they haven't quite clearly identified the audience that it's going out to and the end promise that's providing. And let's face it, we're in a topic here that isn't particularly sexy to the whole world out there. It's something most of us are terrified of, right? Let's talk about accounts, shall we? We all hide under the bed. So we need to make sure that the words we are using when we frame this is really attractive to the audience that we're looking for. And there's a couple of tools that I use to do that. One of them is called Google Trends. Google Trends is completely for free, and it will show you whether the words that you're planning to use in the title of your offer are trending up, trending down, or simply not being searched for at all. The other one, which also helps with what content to put in it, is answerthepublic.com. So those of you who haven't heard of that, so again, another free option tool. It has a free option, it has a paid option, which will show you what questions people are typing in to the major search engines at a certain search volume. So it's going to be telling you things like, is there actually a market for this idea? And if so, what are the questions, the language that people are using? This is going to help you not only come up with the content, but also wrap it up in a way that people go, oh my gosh, I want that. And you know they want that because they're asking the questions. And the final step to this, guys, is all an educational product is, whether it's a book, whether it's an e-guide, whether it's a course, whether it's a coaching program, all they are, if they are brilliant, are answers to people's questions. Nail that, and you have something that's going to add a significant income stream to your business.
I'm loving the simplicity that you're using to describe all this, because that journey that you spoke of, it's kind of a sales ladder of sorts. It's starting at the basics of what's something that someone would be willing to get for free in exchange for maybe their contact information, up through them paying for and hopefully monetizing to the point that you have exclusive access to individuals, maybe doing retreats and so forth. So let's kind of break this down, and I'm going to do it in a similar way to complement what you just shared. And I want to get your input, because from an accounting perspective, one of the natural things to do is to do the tips as we were discussing earlier, just short little segments, bits of information, whether it be a blog post or perhaps a video that's short, to the point, it's addressing a specific issue. But over time, you're going to find that you've collected now a number of these tips and suggestions. Maybe they're thematic in the sense that you've hit on a variety of things that people are asking you in conversations. Well, in the end, what you're going to do is possibly come up with then a topic for a webinar, something that you can now dive a little deeper into, position yourself as the expert, invite people to attend, maybe record it as an evergreen thing that people can now have access to. But the point is once you've actually recorded that webinar, it's not a short tidbit. It's now maybe a half hour, 35, 45-minute explanation of a talking point, wherein again, you're positioning yourself as an expert. And maybe for this access, they, with the short things, can just get them for free. But now this is something they maybe need to provide their contact information to have access to. Now you've got a marketing list that you can now leverage as part of your CRM to send out emails to, or maybe include in a newsletter to now further educate them. But now you move from that webinar that you're doing, or maybe a number of them that you've created, to create now a white paper, a book, but ultimately a course. And it's in that course that you're now having them pay a little bit more to now have access to this wealth of information that you've got, the experience that you've now put into something that is consumable. And now you can go to the next thing, which is what you were alluding to, which is now I've gone through this course that I didn't need any hand holding on. It's standalone. But now those individuals that are completing the course that really admire what we're doing and what you're talking about as an expert, they may be in a position where they want exclusive access to you, maybe a retreat, maybe a program that they can participate in where they get one-on-one with you, whether in a group setting or one-on-one directly, that you can now take what you have as experience and tailor it to their specific needs. But along this journey, you went from little short tidbits that were free, maybe a webinar that was costing them to just fill out a form to access. Now they're paying for a curriculum of some sort, and then there's this retreat where they're paying to have exclusive access to you. Is that a good summary of what it is we're illustrating here?
Absolutely nailed it, Roger. You should just come and work with us. This is it. And yeah, I really want to just touch particularly on one of those, because times have changed a lot over the last 15 years that I've been in this space. But one of the things I'm seeing as a big trend that's actually happened really since COVID is that micro learning has become hot, where bigger programs have not. Now, what I'm not saying is that big programs don't sell. They absolutely do. But what's flying off the shelf faster are these speed micro learnings. And you mentioned it yourself there, Roger, is I call it lunch break learning. If you produce anything that's going to take me longer than a lunch break to complete, I'm not going to complete it. And this is the biggest, scariest thing we want to avoid in any kind of business consumption. People not finishing our stuff, not completing our stuff, means they're not going to get all of the results. And if they don't get all of the results, they're not going to walk away as happy customers, leaving 5-star reviews and becoming our ambassadors and telling everyone and tagging us in Facebook groups that they should come to us, right? So what we really want to be doing inside our educational platform, is this is also related just purely to people's time and attention spans, is we want to go, how can I provide the most amount of value and information and practical outcomes, i.e. help people finish and do stuff in the shortest amount of time possible. And a lot of people go, but yeah, if it's too fast and they won't get all the results, it's actually going to get you way more fans, way more followers, and way more referrals if you are fast, straight to the point, cut out the waffle, tell them what to do, and answer those questions as quickly as you can. And the other way, micro learning being one, how can you, like I say, answer everything in less than a lunch break? The other one that people are really highly opting into at the moment, out of all of those options that we've thrown at you so far, is what's called a membership model. Now, a membership, think of your gym, right? You're paying a monthly fee. It's being direct debited from your card every single month, simply to access whatever's in the gym. All right. Now, you don't need to have multiple courses, multiple offers, new things being created every single month in order for a membership to be attractive and to maintain a high amount of ongoing membership. All a membership is access to, you've guessed it, answers to questions. So you could create a highly lucrative and successful membership that will complement your higher end services, i.e. your accounting services and your bookkeeping services and your financial advice services, if You are giving me access to you once a month to answer questions. Simply going into Zoom and pressing create a meeting on the second Thursday of every month, recurring. There's one link, that date and week and time is the same. And I'm paying you to just rock up once a month and answer my questions. And that once a month membership fee is cheaper than having a one-on-one call with you, because let's not forget, you accountants are expensive. I already am incentivized to join your membership because now I get to speak with the expert. By the way, as a group call, I recommend. It's the whole point of this, is a group session. One of the things that you don't realize when you're so much of an expert in your field is that I would come to an accounting membership in a group session because I don't know about accounting. This is your student base, right? Your target customers don't know your topic. That's why we're coming to you. So if there are other people in that Zoom room, they're going to be asking questions that I wouldn't have even known to ask because I don't know about the topic. It's that unconscious incompetence. I don't know what I don't know. So people get so much more from memberships, because they're learning from the way that other people learn. They're answering from the questions that other people answer. And the third most important part of that is this human fundamental need to have a sense of belonging. Like, some of us have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's the fundamental things we must have in place, like the food, water, shelter. But one of those fundamental human needs is that belongingness. And anything that has this group element to it creates that sense of connection that a lot of us, especially in business, just naturally don't have around us, because not everyone around us is a business owner. So if you can create this place, this community, where not only are you my source of information, but so is everyone else in that community who also happen to get me, you've created a very sticky situation that not only you get an income stream from on its own, but guess who we're going to pick to now manage our accounting when we're ready to take that leap? It's going to be you, because now we know each other. It's a winner.
You know, I'm going to address both of these, and let's start with the one you just ended on, the subscription or membership base. One of the things that's powerful about the sales cycle is we don't necessarily know when the customer is going to need us, but if we're able to position ourselves as the authority through these different resources, they may at some point need us, and now they're going to reach out to us. And so we're just trying to get them into that cycle where they're able to see us each and every week, as you were mentioning, or every month, coming into a group call, and eventually they're going to say, you know what, they brought up something in that conversation that I didn't realize I need, or now it's important to me where 2 months ago it was not. And that's what we're trying to do, is just nurture them along. And the membership program is inexpensive, but yet a way to, as a group, kind of connect with all these people. And to your point, in that group setting, it's not that I have a place to necessarily ask the right question. It's for me to listen in and hear what other people are asking, because I may not know what to ask. And those questions that I'm hearing are things I should have asked or should have known to ask. I just didn't realize I should have. So all of a sudden, I've got other people kind of helping me along in this journey. Now, as it relates to the bite-sized pieces that you were talking about earlier, the short segments, I can attest to that. As a school, we used to have curriculum that was taught in, say, 45 or 50-minute segments. A lot of that was because of continuing education requirements and so forth. And so it wasn't uncommon to have a class that was 50 minutes, an hour and a half long. But the beauty of it is that right there today, in today's world, is not consumable. It's too much. And so we had to go through a process a number of years ago where we had to take all of our curriculum and make it into these bite-sized pieces, and arguably try to create things in 5 to 10 minute segments, and take what was daunting at 50 minutes and come up with 10, let's say 5-minute groups. And what it is now it's consumable. People are more inclined to say, oh, I'll just watch another 5 more minutes. That was something that we recognized years ago, and it still holds true today. Our attention spans are shorter, our willingness to sit down and go through things. And it's not as daunting to start a 50-minute class when you've got a 5-minute class. Oh, I'll just watch 5 minutes more, 5 minutes more. So very, very true as to what you were talking about. So here's what I'd like to do to kind of wrap this up. As a business owner, it's not that as an accounting professional, I ultimately saw myself starting my accounting business to eventually have an accounting course or some type of curriculum with the clients I'm servicing. But I do know that there are today people listening to this realizing I have something to actually share with my clients, whether it be writing a book, coming up with a course. I feel that you've actually now made it attainable, something that is practical. I can see how this can be done. So I just wanted to ask you, from a business perspective, do you have a story of someone who has actually realized that they do have the permission? They don't have to succumb to imposter syndrome to now take what they've experienced and take it and package it in a way that people can now pay for and consume it. Do you have an example of that we might be able to share?
Oh, I think I've got so many. Trying to pick one from that would be really, really challenging. I think the important thing to realize is there's no one way of doing this, and there's no one pathway. Some people have been practicing what they do for so long and do have experience in teaching or presenting to camera. Those people usually just need here's the type of course that's going to work best for you. Here's the model that's going to work best for your particular business. Go get on with it, right? And they're done in a week. Other people, need to practice that educational explanation. They need more time to go to the market and start talking out loud, especially in an industry that we're in here, where a lot of those people have been working behind the scenes. They haven't necessarily been in the limelight in the majority form, right? It's going to take some time to build up that sense of confidence, get rid of that imposter syndrome, stand out in the limelight, and that kind of journey might take longer. The other part that I see a lot of people go through with this is also just not giving themselves enough time to develop those skills, but also to see the results that come from them. So not to avoid your question here, Roger, but I think what this is a beautiful segue for us to go, cool, I want to do something. I want to start making a bigger impact in the market. I want to use this educational or edu-marketing path or frame to get more people to find me, discover me, follow me, and then potentially turn this into commercial products and services and offers of some kind. But I really want everyone to know when they jump into this that there is no one path, because each of your business models are different. The type of product or offer you create based on what's going to work for your business and your offers, and the resources that you have and the business structure that you have are going to be different. And on top of that, the market that you are targeting is going to be different. Are you going for one to many? You want to impact as many people as possible. That means you are going to have very low price products and do mass marketing. More people coming through your system, you are going to need administrative support of some kind. If you're going for that more VIP, exclusive luxury top end of the market, then you're going to have less customers, but you're going to need to do very different kinds of marketing. You will need sales calls in your marketing process. You are going to need ongoing email nurture sequences to convert those people, and they're going to expect a really high level exclusive experience as part of that delivery, which again is going to mean different kinds of staff and different kinds of support. But they're also, as part of this time, I'm saying, give yourself time to learn these things and build it all, but also to get the conversions, because a lot of people come to me and think that they're going to create a product, which you can, by the way, and you can create a course in less than 24 hours and have it out there, but that doesn't mean it's going to make money in 24 hours. You talked earlier about, how you said, Roger, people don't necessarily know that they want your services yet. They might not be ready for your services yet, but what you're doing now is sowing the seed for that person to be a potential customer in the future. And here's a statistic for you. Back in the olden days of pre-COVID, it took approximately 5 to 7 touch points, i.e. seeing your content, seeing you answer a question online, seeing you put a little tip video out there, seeing you at a summit or something, listening to one of your podcasts, 5 to 7 times, and boom, you've potentially got yourself a customer. However, today, it takes on average a minimum of 22 touch points before they even remember that they've ever seen you before. So that's not even before they followed you or become a lead, right? That's just so that you exist in their memory at all. It now also, on average, takes around 18 months of somebody repeatedly seeing you in order to build up the trust enough to even reach out as a prospect or a lead before they make any kind of action-taking decision whatsoever. And so I really want to pull that home in that this is got to feed into how much do you want to leave this legacy? How much does it mean to you to genuinely help people? How much does it mean to you to be the tree that they build their tree house in, even if right now this is the seedling going in the ground of that future version of your business? Give it time to grow.
I love it. I think the thing that culminates all this is that word you used just a moment ago of legacy. This is a long play. This is something that you have to actually strategically plan out and go at it from that perspective. And if you do so, you will be very well received and rewarded. It's when you go at it with this short mindset that you'll get frustrated and discouraged because it just won't turn as quickly as I think you might hope. So yes, it is a long play and it is a legacy. So very well said on that part. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this up with a few things here. The first thing I want to point out is if you'd like to learn more about what it is that Sarah does, I'd like to actually invite you to request what is called a personalized action plan for your business. It's going to give you the step-by-step things that you need to consider as you're working on your business. And so for this, go to the episode description and there you'll find the link where you can actually get for free your personalized action plan for your business. And it's something that I'm going to be doing as well. The other thing that I'd like to point out is if you're interested in taking your intellectual property, the things that you've been thinking about and considering, I want you to understand that having a book is something we've discussed on this podcast before, but now considering a course, a curriculum, basically taking and creating something a video version of is definitely a viable solution and is definitely applicable today just because of the mediums that are out there now, especially in social media that so resonate with the video performance, the platform of video. So definitely I'm grateful that we had this. Now, as a summary of this, one of the things that I do want to point out is that when you look at this, it's that journey that she was speaking of earlier on. It's recognizing that there's this ladder of how you can repurpose your intellectual property, whether it be the tips that she was speaking of, just taking those things that you have as an expert and presenting them in a video format, perhaps something that enables you from a marketing point of view to stand out from your competition as being that expert, and then taking that and maybe moving up into a shorter curriculum, something that she said that you could do in a lunch period. That's something that is bite-sizable. It's something that is tangible in the sense that I can now finish it and be happy that I've done it. That's definitely something that is worthwhile creating. But then to go to that next level where it's a curriculum, a course that's a little bit more sizable as to I'm going to become an expert in a particular area, something that you're able to educate me on. But lastly, it's then, could you build a business model around giving people access to you as the expert that's beyond just a course, but something that is either in a group or an individual format? This journey that she illustrated is definitely something that might complement well your accounting business as you're working with your clients, especially from a CFO and advisory point of view. So definitely consider how this may be able to complement your company, simply because as we ended, it is a legacy that you might be able to create, something that you can in the long term be very proud of because of all the work and experience you've acquired over the years that you've now been able to create and make evergreen. So I definitely want to encourage you to consider that. So this has been a wonderful conversation, something that I've been very excited for. So Sarah, what closing thought would you like to leave?
If you are creating and building anything, as you know, it's going to make some change happen. And change can be a little bit uncomfortable. You'll learn some new things. You might have to learn some new tech when it comes to creating these courses or educational products. You're going to have to learn a bit more marketing. You're going to have to learn how to get a thicker skin going out there to the public. And all of these things, these change things are tough. I want to leave you one of my favorite quotes. It's by a lady called Cynthia Otelli. And she says this about change. She says, in order for a seed to reach its greatest expression, it must come completely undone. And to anyone who doesn't understand change, it would look like complete destruction because its insides come out, its shell cracks, but that's the only way it can come into its final form. So with you going out there and helping other people create change in their businesses by better managing their money, their accounts and their finances, remember the learners are the earners, but also we got to flip that around when we remember that we're doing exactly the same for everyone else. Change is awesome, it's fun, and the only way that you're going to make change for other people and in your bottom line is to simply start today, go out there, keep learning, keep iterating, keep evolving, and so too will your industry and your business. Good luck.
Beautifully said. And I love the illustration that you just provided. That was a wonderful example of this. So for all my listeners, if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the podcast. Each and every week we come on the show and bring on the experts to share these types of insights as to what it is you can be doing to work on your business to ultimately have what I refer to as the premier accounting firm in your area. In addition to this, one of the things that I also want to do is point out that we have GrowCon. GrowCon is an annual conference where we have the experts on the stage to show us the professional things we can be doing to work on our business. those timely things that need our attention so that we can, in fact, offer quality accounting services and get paid what we're worth. Now, if you're interested in GrowCon or if you'd like to register, definitely go to universalaccounting.com and there find information regarding the conference itself and register. We'd love to see you, work with you, have you come and meet with your peers, those individuals like you that are working on their businesses, build not only friendships, but collaborations as you're servicing your clients. Definitely come to the conference. We look forward to seeing you there. And then lastly, you get to see our staff, those individuals that are committed to your success, allowing you to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself with Universal Accounting. Now, as it relates to this show, one of the things that I'd like to point out is as a free offer, you can go to universalaccounting.com and find the free resources. Many of these things are exactly like Sarah's been explaining, free things that you can actually have access to that are short courses, curriculums designed to actually assist you in working on your business, insights that you need to be aware of as to what it is you can be doing to offer quality accounting services, get paid what you're worth, and most importantly, become the premier accounting firm in your area. So go to the episode description and find the links to these various free resources that you should take advantage of. Lastly, if you'd like to discuss this or other things that we've discussed on the show, I invite you to give us a phone call. You can reach us at 801-265-3777, or you can visit us online going to universalaccountingschool.com. And always remember this, if it is about accounting, it is universal. Take care, be safe out there, and have a wonderful day. Sarah, that was awesome.
Yay, thank you.
Well done, and like a pro, no exceptions there. All right, so here's what I'm going to have you do. Go to the chat, and you're going to have that little promo piece.
Cool. This was Sarah Cordiner, and it was absolutely awesome to be with Roger today to record an episode of Building the Premier Accounting Firm. We have touched on a few different ways that you can turn your IP and your knowledge not only into more leads, more followers, a stream of bringing people into your business, but also how you can use that to not build a legacy in your business and to create another commercial stream of income. We can't wait for you to listen and join us. We'll see you there.
Perfect. Wonderfully done. I appreciate it.